Hello everyone, we are back again with our latest video on SQL Tutorial Bikacho by Bikacho Groups, and this is day 2 set 1 of 30 days SQL interview question series, and this video is recording on 30th April 2025. So without any delay, move on to the first question of today's video, and in this particular video we are going to resolve the question in the pattern. First of all, we will cover the query based question, and then after that we will go on to the theoretical questions. So first question of today's video is, how can you delete duplicate rows in a table? Okay, so first of all we need to delete the duplicate rows from a table. So for that we need to use ct with the windows function. So we have already created this employees with duplicate table that we will use in our query. So first of all we will check if we have duplicate rows or not. So this is also a very important question, that how to check duplicate rows in a table. So first of all, do a select star from employees duplicate table, employee with duplicate data. Okay, now execute this first and check the data set how it is coming. So we have the id, name, department, country, age and salary. Now how to check the duplicate records? For that the query will be like select name comma count star from the table, and then group our record by name having having count star greater than 1. So if any record having count star greater than 1, that means that particular record is duplicate in this particular table. Okay, now execute this and check the duplicate record. So Annie and Mary records are duplicate, and these record we are going to delete. So for deleting the duplicate record, what we need to do, we need to first create one CTE like with CTE as, and inside that we need to create one row number column using the windows function. So select star comma row number and then over. So windows function is a very important concept in SQL, even in interviews or also in the working place also, because these functions, windows function, you are going to use again and again. Okay, so over, and now we need to partition our record set by name. So partition by name and order by id. Okay, and put alias for this as rank rnk. Now from which table? So from employee with duplicate table. Okay, and then first of all we will check what kind of data it is providing to us, the result set. So select star from CTE and then execute this first and check the data set what it is providing. So you can see here it is providing rank to each record, and those record which are duplicate, it is providing two ranks like 1 and 2. So what we need as our output, so those record which have rank as 1, those record we need, and the rank 2 record we need to delete because those are duplicate records. Okay, so for that just you need to do like delete from CT and where rnk is greater than 1. And this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer for deleting duplicate records in a table. Now execute this and you will find it out. So two rows are affected, and now when we go and check the duplicate record, so we will not find any record here. Execute this, execute, so no record are coming. Okay, so duplicate records are deleted. And if you don't understand any point in this particular question, then let us know. We will tell you in the comment, or we will create a separate video on this explanation, because this is a very mandatory question and this will come to every developer from means 1 year to, you can take like 5 to 6 years of experience people will be asked these questions, because for data cleaning and all, this question is very mandatory. And this concept you must know, like how to check the duplicates and how to delete the duplicate rows. Okay, now move on to the next question. So next what we have, the second question. So how to get the common record from two tables? Okay, so for this particular question we have two tables, like one employee table we have and one employee table with extra data we have. Okay, now paste this Now first of all, do a select star on employees table. So select star from employees and check the record here. Execute this first. So you can see here we have the 12 rows, and these are the data like ID, name, department, country, age, and salary. And then we have a table which has the same data with some extra data, which is select star from employees duplicate. And these data, if you need the table structure and the data inside the table, means the script for this particular table, then you can check our Telegram channel. There we will load these particular data sets after the video is completed. Okay, so from there you will find the data set. Okay, now execute this and check the data for employee duplicate table. So here you can see 13 rows we have, means one row extra we have, and this is like this. Now we need to find out common record between both of the table. Okay, so finding the common record between two tables, we need to use intersect function. Okay, and for means more knowledge on intersect function, what you need to do, you need to go and check our video on intersect function. So basically intersect function, what it will do, it will find out the common record between both of the table and eliminates the duplicate rows also, and also non-matching rows. Okay, so now we will do select star from employees, intersect select star from employee duplicate. Okay, now execute this, and this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer for checking the common record between two tables. Okay, so you can see here we are getting 12 rows, so both employee and employee duplicate have 12 rows in common. Okay, now move on to the next question. So after this, what we have, the third question. So how to retrieve the last 10 records from a table. Okay, so for this is a very simple question, but you need to understand what it is telling. So it is telling to retrieve last 10 records from a table. So how to do like that? So first of all, we will use the employees table for this. So this is a simple question. What you need to do, select top 10 star from employees table, and then here what you need to do, you need to order our record set, order by ID and in descending order, because we need the last 10 records. Okay, this is clear, and this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer for this particular question. Now execute this, and here you can see we are getting records from back. Okay, 12 to 3. This is clear. Now move on to the next question. So next what we have, so how do you fetch top 5 employees with highest salary? Okay, so basically what we need to find out here, we need to find out the top 5 employees with highest salary. Okay, so the solution for this will be like, this is also a very simple question, and generally it is asked for experience between 1 to 4 years of experience. Okay, so now execute this. The query for this will be like select and we need top 5 employees. So top 5 star from employees table, and we need the employees with highest salary. So we need to do the order by on on salary. Okay, and in descending order. Okay, because we need the highest salary, and if we need the lowest salary, then we can just change this descending to ascending. Okay, and this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer for this particular question. Now execute this. So here you can see all the top 5 employees with top highest salary are coming now. Okay, so this is clear. Now move on to the next question. So next what we have, we have the fifth question. So how to calculate the total salary of all employees? Okay, so basically for total salary of all employees, we need to use the arithmetic operation, which is sum. And if you need to know about more about the arithmetic functions in SQL Server inbuilt arithmetic operations, then you can visit to our channel video. That link we will provide in this description also. So from there you can get the whole detail on how arithmetic operations are working, and what are the types of arithmetic operation we have in SQL Server, and all the concept we will get from there. Now move on to the question. So how to calculate the total salary of all employees? So for calculating total salary of all employees, we need to use the sum function. So select sum of salary as total salary, TOTL, total salary from employees table. Okay, now execute this, and this is the final query that we need to provide to the interviewer for this particular question. This is a simple question, but a bit means non-understandable. Okay, so this one is the total salary of all the employees. Okay, now move on to the next question. So next we have the theoretical questions. So we are starting the theoretical question now. We will make the screen little bit larger. Okay, that will be much better. So now, what are the limitations of a view? Okay, so views in SQL Server are a powerful tool, but they come with certain limitations, and the limitations are like below. So number one is no parameters. So you cannot pass parameter to a view, and this limits dynamic filtering or customization of the data retrieved. Okay. Now second point is like order by clause restriction. So the order by clause cannot be used in a view unless combined with top or 4xml. Okay, and these are very important interview questions. Each point are interview questions. Okay, so remember each of the points, and for detailed video on view you can visit to our channel. That link we will provide in the description also. Okay, now move on to the third point. So third point is no temporary tables. So views cannot be created on temporary tables. Okay, so basically we cannot create a view on top of a temporary table. Okay, so no rules or default. So you cannot associate rules or default values with a view. Okay, now fifth point is performance concern. So complex views, especially those involving multiple joins or nested views, can lead to performance degradation. So basically the complex view and nested views will decrease the performance. Okay, now sixth point, dependency on base table. So if a base table is dropped or its structure changes, example renaming a column, the view may become invalid or throw error. Okay. So basically the view is totally dependent on the base table, and if anything affected on the base table, the view will be invalid and will throw error while executing. Okay. So seventh point, limited DML operation. So limited data manipulation language operation. So views with multiple base tables or certain constructs like aggregate function may not support insert, update or delete operations. Okay, now move on to the next question. So next what we have, so can you create a view by using another view or nesting views? So the answer will be yes, we can build views on other views and nest them up to 32 levels. So this point is very important, like 32 levels. Okay, so we can nest the views but up to 32 levels only. And basing a view on another view is known as nesting view, nesting of views. Okay, so this point will come in the same line. One second. Okay, so nesting views. Now the eighth question. So how you will encrypt a view so that people can utilize view to run report but can't see the underlying code. Okay, basically how to encrypt the view. So the answer for this will be we can encrypt our view using with encryption keyword. So with encryption keyword and all these keywords we have used in our view video. So for detailed analysis on these topics, you can check the views video itself. Okay, that we will provide in the link. Now the ninth question. So if you are going to change or drop a table, but you don't know how many views, procedures, etc. are dependent on this particular table, then how you will find dependencies? Okay, so the answer for this will be like, to check dependencies, there is a system supplied stored procedure which is sp underscore depends, which will list all dependent objects for the object name we pass in. So basically by using the system stored procedure sp underscore depends, we will check all the dependencies of any database object, like which database object are depending on that, like table, views or procedures. And these concepts we have already covered in our stored procedure video. So for detailed analysis on these system stored procedure, user defined stored procedure, parameterized stored procedure, non-parameterized stored procedure, output parameter procedure, so for all these concepts you can check our procedure video that we will also provide on the below description. Okay, now move on to the next question. And this sp underscore depends we will perform once this particular theoretical part will be over. Then I will show you how to use this sp underscore depends and how to check the dependencies on a database object. Now the next question. So the 10th question, what is the purpose of the with schema binding clause and where can it be used? Okay, so this is a very important question, and the answer for this is with schema binding can be used in views and t-SQL function objects that are schema bound can have their definition changed, but objects that are referenced by schema bound objects cannot have their definition changed. Okay, So schema binding effectively states that the metadata which is created at object creation time can then be relied upon to be accurate at all times, and use of sp underscore refresh SQL module is not necessary. Okay, so schema binding can also significantly increase the performance of user defined functions in SQL Server 2005 and above. Okay, so basically this schema with schema binding concept clause came after SQL Server 2005 and above. Okay, so however, caution should be applied as this is definitely not always the case. Okay, so basically the schema binding will bind the schema of the database object. So if we create a view like indexed view on top of a schema binding, then what we need to do, then then that particular view is schema bounded with the table, and without deleting that view we cannot delete the base table. So this particular concept also we will go on SQL Server and check, means SSMS, and check how to make a view as with schema binded view, and what effects that view will what impacts that view will do on the base table. Okay, so don't worry about that. Now move on to SSMS and check the working of these. Okay, so here, first of all, we will check sp underscore depend. So how to use sp underscore depend? So if we have our employees table, like select star from employees, select star from employees. So this is the table, and currently nothing is dependent on this, but we will check how the sp underscore depend from store procedure returning what value. Okay, so exec sp underscore help sp underscore depends, sp underscore dp and ds. Okay, sp underscore depends, and then the database object name. In our case this is table. Now execute this, and this will provide you all the dependencies on this employees table. So currently object does not reference any object, and no object referenced it. Okay, so currently there is no dependency, but if there will be any dependency, then this particular store procedure will show you the dependency. And also by using the graphical user interface, how you will check the dependencies, you need to right click on the database object, like employees table, you will right click, and then here we get the option to view dependencies, and here the dependencies will be shown. Okay, now cancel this, and then with schema binding. So what they with schema binding will do, so for first we will create one view on top of this employees table, and then we will check how it is working. With schema binding we will create the view like indexed view we will create. So create view, and view name will be emp1. Let's take emp1, and then with schema binding, schema schema binding. Okay, with schema binding as, and then our select query will come. So select from table name, employees table name, and the column inside this table we will check here. These columns we will take, copy this, and then paste this. Now 1 second, control R, and then put the comma here. Okay, so this is our view emp1. Now execute this and check. Okay, so cannot schema bind with view emp1 because name employee is invalid for schema binding, and names must be in two-part format, and an object cannot reference itself. Okay, so basically we need to provide the employee name in two-part format, the name of this table. Basically currently it is in a single part like employees. Now two-part format will be like, we need to mention the schema name also. So what is the schema name? So dbo is our schema, so dbo dot employees, and now when we execute this, this will create the view. Okay, now put a select star on this view. So select star from view. So emp1, now emp1 has the data, and now we will try to delete this source table employees. Now you will check, see how the schema binding will work. So try to drop this drop, drop table, and the table name. Okay, execute this. So you can see what we are getting. So cannot drop table employees because it is being referenced by object emp id. So if you mention the schema binding, if we are using with schema binding, then the source table or source database object cannot be dropped unless until the dependent objects will drop. Okay, and here we will use the sp underscore depend also once and check if it is showing this view or not. So exec sp underscore depends and execute this. So currently we have one dependent view on top of this employee table. Now execute this. Here you can see name and type is view. Okay. Now move on with the schema binding. Okay. So when we delete this particular view, which is created on top of this table, so drop view and then view name. Execute this. This is dropped successfully. Now we will try to drop the base table. So drop table and the table name. Now execute this. So it got deleted. Command completed successfully. And that is it in this video. And the new video, next video is going to be launched very soon. So do thank you for watching. Do like, share and subscribe, and many more videos are on the way. So until 30 days completed, we will continue this particular series, and each day you will find at least one set, and more than one set also you can get per day. Okay, but one set will be must. Okay, so thank you for watching, and if you need any data set or scripts or table scripts, then you can join our telegram channel through this particular scan code, or the link you will find in our channel description and also on this video description. And the important videos that I have mentioned during the interviews, that links also we will tag inside the description of this video. So thank you for watching. Thank you everyone.